Hello all and welcome back to my rover testing world. Today I'm just doing a quick look over, I guess a review, of a rover that somebody submitted on my Discord. They wanted a little feedback. The rover isn't in a completed state or anything. They just wanted to get a little bit of feedback on it before they finished it up. So that's what I'm going to be doing. The person who submitted it is Jeebus, and the rover is, let's see, what is the rover called? Whatever that is. Just gonna paste it in up here. Here's a little size comparison. It's a little bit smaller than the tutorial rover. Uses the 3x3 wheels instead of the 5x5, but it seems like it is some sort of mining rover. Right off the bat, I can tell that this is pretty back heavy, just because it's sitting lower on those wheel suspensions. Unless the wheel suspensions are tweaked, but I mean all the weight is in the back here. So it's gonna want to pop the front end up and then spin on those back wheels, so it's gonna be kind of difficult to drive around in bumpy terrain. If they have it set to drive slowly, it just shouldn't be too much of a problem. But I would definitely recommend moving the batteries into the middle, or just like moving most of the stuff into the middle of this, just so that the weight distribution is a little bit better. The next thing to note is these. I'm assuming these are arms that stretch out to the sides and then spin and stabilize, based off of the Stable Maker rotor, which is also showing up for some reason. Let's jump in and fix that. This is kind of hard to get in and out of without flying because of the control seat choice. I kind of like it because it's very clear, the helm, but it's kind of hard to get in and out of. Let's fix these rotors. Stable Maker rotors do not show those on the HUD. There we go. Clean that up a little bit. Now, yeah, these plates are going to lock to the tires when the tires compress up into the wheel suspensions, and that's going to stop them from rotating, which is dangerous. So in resting position, I definitely recommend that these turn and face straight up. That would probably be for the best, and I'm going to do that right away, and then we'll be back and I'll show you what settings I have for that. These are the settings I set those rotors to. The Stable Maker rotors, the left ones are now at 3 rotations per minute, or -3, and they go from -180, and the right ones go from 0 to 180 with the opposite rotation. So that's the only change I would make for those. That pretty much fixes any sort of grabbing issue, and because there's a gap between these wheels and these are a little higher up, it shouldn't have any clanging issue. For steering, I like that only the front wheels turn. That's going to be just fine. Let's look at how fast the wheels are set to go. I don't know, I guess they were renamed. Okay, there we go. Yeah, some stuff was renamed without the suspensions. Okay. The rear wheels are set to... I always increase the height offset on these. It's just going to make things bottom out less. Maybe put it like negative... Wait, am I supposed to be... Yeah, -30. Yeah, we'll do the all the wheels, which I guess isn't actually all the wheels, so I want to fix that. And we'll make them have a height offset of -30. 0.3, my bad. -0.3. There we go. For sure. And the strength, let's see what these are Let's see what these are at. The strength is how strong the suspensions are. So it's 12. It looks like 12% across the board. That's not a bad number. It could probably be less because this is a fairly light Rover, and then that would give you better traction because they'd be able to compress a little bit better. So I would turn the wheel suspensions down to, I think default is 6%. I would go with like an 8%. I think that would be generally good. Friction is fine. They did lower the speed, it looks like, on all these wheels, which is probably, well, some of them are not. They're not all the same because these ones are just not in the all group. I think they should definitely all be the same. And they did 34. We're just going to make this like 50 because it's a nice number. And I think that will be reasonable for. I'm just going to see how that feels real quick. Also, I can tell this was built not off like a landing gear or something, because when I copy and paste it, it pastes in vertically, which means the rotation axis for this is actually pointing up as forwards. Or is it down as forwards? I don't know. It's not forwards as forwards, so it's not really a big issue. Just for blueprinting and copy and pasting, which if you're doing this in survival is not an issue. So this is a decent speed, it seems like. I can go forwards and slam the brakes. I think this is a little back heavy, so going backwards and then slamming the brakes, it's still fine. It's still fine. It doesn't flip over at this speed. If you sped it up a bit, I bet you could probably flip this over backwards by slamming the brakes. Park it again for a second. I do see there is a gyro in here, which I think is really good. Is there only one gyro on this? Yes, as far as I can tell, there's one gyro on this, which is probably sufficient for a rig this size. I would probably personally put 2 gyros on it, just to get a lot more control over flipping and turning and whatnot. I think 2 gyros would be a little bit better. Yeah, moving the batteries in towards the middle would also be good, just to stabilize things a little bit. Yeah, let's test out this drill rig thing. I actually don't know. They have a custom turret controller. Okay, control set 2. So if I use that, I can turn it up and down. I can't turn left and right. Is it locked? I don't see a lock. Is that number 6? I bet it's just really low speed again. The rotor, or is that in the custom turret controller? Probably. Yeah, this is an extremely low speed. It's just not going to work with that. We'll make this 18. And then, yeah, we can turn it. Okay. So we can turn it around and whatnot. And we can control it from the seat. I did see there's a camera on this. Drill arm controller. Let's assign the camera. I also like to just drop the camera into the controls. So if I hit F, I come out. This is my Rover controls, and then I hit 1. Now I'm in this, and I have the camera. But if I hit a F again, I'm still controlling the custom turret controller, but I'm out of the camera. It'd be nice to be able to get back into the camera from here. So I would add to the hotbar the camera, which it's not letting me do for some reason. Why is my G menu not working right now? Also, I can't turn left any further than this, so that rotor needs its rotation stuff just fixed. Rotor, drill arm rotor base. That's what I want. And you just want to let it spin all the way around. Now I can do a full loop-de-loop with this and there's no issue. I think, check out how much the rotor tips when I rotate this around. Okay, it's actually not that bad. Not that bad. I cannot angle this though. This hinge, I can't angle it down further than that. I can't angle it up further than that either. So, oh dear, now I've hooked the piston thing. Maybe that's an issue now. Let's unlock that. Ah, it got. So I guess that's the issue with them being pointing upwards. Maybe the best thing to do would just to make these, make them not auto lock, and just put that on your hotbar, your first hotbar. Instead of having unlock on the hotbar, have lock, unlock on the hotbar. And always remove the use for parking for sure. I don't really like that. Unlock, there we go. Now they won't automatically lock on things. As far as functionality of the drill, okay, so you can go backwards. You can't turn down any more than that. Okay, you can go out, but I can't hinge down. I want to be able to. So I would change that just to let you go down further. Maybe just give that hinge full range of motion. Yeah, now I can point at the ground. That's perfectly fine. I think giving it full range of motion is good. It gives you a lot more. Look at that, I can lift myself. Roar. That's kind of cool actually, because the drill is strong. Not have to worry about blowing it up probably. Yeah, so I'd make that change. Then you can kind of drill in the ground and do stuff, which is cool. This camera is nice. I don't know how much I would actually use it because I'd probably just control it from third person like that. But if you don't have access to third person, if you're stuck in a playthrough with just first person, having the camera is definitely good. I would maybe get rid of this, the big loop here, because it might clang on the ground if you're digging a deep hole. I don't know if you can dig a deep hole with this setup, but maybe you can. I would probably just do a like a single block maybe. Can you attach? Yeah, there's really not a great spot to put a camera. Perhaps what I would do, because this rotor and this hinge really aren't used in this setup. Actually, these could be used. You'd have to set up an extra hotbar, but these actually could be useful if you drill down and then turn the drill sideways and spin it in a circle. These could be useful, but I would add a block between this hinge and the drill, and then I would pop a block up from that. Oh, actually, this drill is just massive. Yeah, it might be kind of hard to fit a camera onto the front of this. Maybe this is the best way to do it. I still wouldn't have this coming up the sides. I would put a block between the hinge and the drill, and then I would build just straight up to behind here, essentially like that. And then I would put the camera on that, and that just clears up a little bit more space around your drill. And it'll just clang against the ground less and not get damaged as much if you want the camera there. The other thing I tend to do is in drill setups, instead of putting the camera on the last pit here, I would consider putting the camera up by this hinge. So put it between this hinge and this piston, and then just aim it down along this piston. And you'll be able to see how far your piston extends, and you'll see how the arm is moving, but you won't be like in the dirt with everything. So I actually think a better spot for the camera would be right between these two blocks. And that would be easy to put in there, and then you wouldn't have to worry about it hitting the dirt really ever, because it's always going to be up here, which is good. So that's my recommendation for that. This is a good bumper. Tires are extremely durable, and it's sticking out a little ways, which is fine. I think, let's see, these don't look like heavy armor blocks. I think this whole thing's made out of light armor blocks, which is okay. If you can change it to heavy armor blocks, that's always just going to be good. The heavy armor blocks are just more durable, and having a little bit more weight, if this bottom bit here is made out of heavy armor, it's going to be a large chunk of the weight of your Rover, and it's going to keep it very stable because all these blocks down here, this big chunk of blocks, is very centered and very low. So even if you add like this heavy weight to the back, you're going to have a very heavy central platform, and that's going to keep your whole Rover more stable. So maybe make that change. It's worth considering. The bit right here, these blocks right here, I do like these blocks and they match the top and that looks kind of cool, but I do think these are going to have a little bit of an issue bottoming out if you're going in really steep terrain. They might not, that'll take some testing, but if you're going quick and you're going in steep terrain, they might bottom out. But this vehicle is really not made for that. This is a work vehicle. This isn't really a scout vehicle. The wheel suspension speed is set to low, so you're never going to be going really fast with this vehicle. So it's probably fine just to leave it as is. What else? I think probably adding another gyroscope. I think I already said that, but adding another gyroscope would not hurt this setup at all. I'm going to take this for a test drive as is. I am going to put this in a position where I think it will be more stable. And I think if I put it like this, it's going to distribute the weight of this vehicle better. So I'm just going to point it forwards. I don't see if I have a locks for things. Okay, that locks some stuff. I'm going to lock the hinges and everything just to keep this as secure as possible. Alright, I think, yeah, now we're all locked up. I'm going to lock the... Now they won't accidentally... And let's take this for a test drive. Actually, I'm going to blueprint this real quick, so I have all the settings fixed if I crash and die. And I want to make sure I always save other people's stuff when I blueprint it as being their design, just so that I don't forget who designed it and then think I designed it 5 or 6 years from now, and then yeah, do something weird, you know, that I shouldn't be doing. So always, whenever I'm saving stuff, I like to make sure I'm keeping the original designer's name on it in some fashion. So yeah, good practice. Oh, not all the rotors are locked. Well, let's lock that rotor, because as I'm turning my vehicle, the arm is swinging, which is not what you want at all. In fact, yeah. The rotor base is not locked. Okay, now it's locked. Much better. And it looks like our max speed is, it's like 14 meters per second. In reality, I think I set it higher than that, but whew, a little bit scary on the first hill there. We'll drive it in third person. Coming up on a jump here. don't think we're going to get much air because it's having a little bit of a hard time getting up that hill. Not terrible though. The speed is set low enough on this craft that I didn't get any air there, which is probably a good idea. It's actually feeling pretty good to drive. It's driving slower than I normally drive vehicles, but it's an intelligent thing to do if you don't want to be crashing your vehicles. If your vehicle drives fast and crashes a bunch, slow it down maybe. If you don't feel like changing other major things about it. Because this is a very safe speed to be driving this vehicle. It seems like it handles fairly well. I don't seem to get my tires off the ground at max speed when I'm turning, which is good. That's what you want. We'll continue through the course here. It does have a little bit of difficulty going up hills. So I'm just going to park it real quick and turn up the power on the suspensions. If I just turn up the power to 100%, right? Ooh, okay. Now let's... We're kind of on tilted terrain. That's fine. Let's try it going backwards, full speed. Yeah, we're still okay. Max speed is still quality. Doesn't look... I think they're just being weird. Actually, I need to look at this. It feels like my wheels are fighting themselves. This is a right suspension. It almost feels like some of these suspensions are trying to go the opposite direction. Right. Okay, these are all right suspensions, and these hopefully are all left suspensions. It seemed like some of them were fighting me, but maybe that was just in my head. Okay, all the suspensions are correct. Maybe it's just, yeah, I increased the power, in my opinion. It's going to take a literal eon to drive through this whole course with the slower max speed. But I just want to try it on the steep hill over here. Before I bring it back to the main base and kind of this is how we're going to get there quickly. I already know it can get through this part just fine. I want to see it try and go up this hill. Alright. This is a good test of a few things. First of all, whether or not your front is going to crunch. The front is fine. And it's a steep hill. You can see it's trying to flip me over backwards. If I drag down on my mouse, the gyroscope is letting me keep the tip down. But because this is back heavy, I really wanted to tip over backwards. But it made fine, which is good. Let's take it off a jump just to do it. Just to do it. I actually don't know if I'm going to jump because I'm going so slow. I might just clang down the hill. We'll find out. Oh gosh, I'm going to go a little bit left because there's a big thing down there. Whoa. Oh, that was, yeah. Okay. I started tipping and I just didn't have enough gyroscopes to recover from that. Let's see if there's enough gyros to flip back over on our own. It doesn't seem like it. So if this ends up upside down, yeah, it's kind of hard to flip back over. Let's slap another gyro on and see if we can do it then. Easy. Easy with 2 gyroscopes. Yeah, I definitely recommend at least 2 gyroscopes on this for that reason. Not bad. Alright, I think, I don't know, there's really not much else to say about this. It's a good start, it's a good base. Yeah, center stuff a little bit more. Hopefully that was helpful. See ya.